You don't feel tired of love. You feel tired of being legible. Dating apps turn you into a raw someone with skin, a few photos, a few lines, a few jokes that have to land, and you learn fast what works. You don't even call it lying. You call it optimizing. You call it being realistic. You call it just how it is. But notice the moment it starts. Not with a date, not with romance, with the edit. Your thumb keeps moving until the glass feels warm, and each swipe answers back. With that tiny haptic tick, it looks calm. It looks casual. It looks like nothing. Yet inside, you are doing math in the dark. If I say this, will they leave? If I don't say that, will I disappear? If I show too much, will it cost me? So you learn to split. There is the version of you that laughs in captions. There is the version of you that doesn't take it too seriously. And there is the real you, sitting quietly behind your own eyes, watching this performance like a stranger. The world calls it confidence, but it is not confidence. It is control. Because control keeps you safe. Control keeps you chosen. Control keeps you from feeling the small, sharp sting of being ignored. And the strange part is this: you can get matches and still feel lonelier. You can get messages and still feel unseen. You can get attention and still feel like you are fading. That's the first secret of this kind of exhaustion. It is not the lack of love. It is the constant shaping of yourself into a shape that can be accepted. You are not too picky. You are not too sensitive. You are not asking for too much. You are carrying a persona like a suitcase that never gets set down. And even when someone likes it, you still wonder if they like you, because the app doesn't ask, "Who are you?" It asks, "What can you be?" And once you live in that question long enough, your nervous system starts treating love like a job interview you can never finish. When love becomes a test, your soul starts skipping questions. And yet, the mask is only half the story. The deeper layer is the loop. You swipe, and nothing happens. You swipe, and nothing happens. You swipe, and suddenly, someone appears. Not because you earned it, not because you did it right, but because the reward arrives on a random schedule, and the brain learns fastest that way. So your hope becomes alert, your calm becomes watchful, your rest becomes conditional. It is not desperation. It is not neediness. It is not neediness. It is not attention seeking. It is a nervous system trying to predict a pattern that keeps changing. Your ancient alarm system does this for a living. It tracks what helps you belong. It tracks what gets you dropped. It tracks the tiny risks that feel bigger at night. So even when you tell yourself it's just an app, your body doesn't fully agree. Your eyes recheck the same corner of the day for updates. Your mouth makes that small, dry swallow. When you see a name, then nothing under it, your mind starts building stories out of silence. Maybe they got bored. Maybe I was too much. Maybe I waited too long. Maybe I said the wrong thing. This is how the loop steals energy. Not with drama, with repetition. The app trains you to be available, to be ready, to respond fast, to keep the thread alive, like it is a fragile thing in your hands. And when someone disappears, you don't just lose a match. You lose the meaning. You were starting to attach to it. That's why the exhaustion feels weirdly physical. Not heavy, not loud. More like a low-level hum of readiness that never earns a release. So you don't stop because you're weak. You stop because your system gets smart. It starts asking, how many almost can I carry? How many maybes can I stomach? How many we should hang out? Lines can I translate into nothing? This is not a character flaw. This is a protection program running too long without rest. Uncertainty isn't romance. It's a rhythm that teaches you to flinch. But beneath that loop, there is another trap, the endless hallway. So many doors, so many faces, so many could be, and the world calls it freedom. More options, more chances, more hope. Yet it is not freedom, it is pressure. Because when there are always more doors, the mind treats every choice like a mistake waiting to happen. And research on online dating has found that too many options can push satisfaction down, not up. So you start scanning instead of feeling. You don't ask, do I enjoy them? You ask, are they the best I can get? You don't ask, do we connect? You ask, what if someone better is one swipe away? Not because you are shallow, not because you are cold, but because your brain is trying to avoid regret. This is the paradox. The more you can choose, the less safe choosing feels. And the less safe choosing feels, the more you keep shopping for certainty that does not exist. So your standards become a shield. Your skepticism becomes a seatbelt. Your detachment becomes a kind of wisdom. You notice patterns faster than others. You read tone faster than others. You sense the hidden, "I'm not ready," before it gets spoken. That is not paranoia. That is skill. You didn't become sharp for fun. You became sharp because dullness costs you. And this is where your exhaustion starts, looking like intelligence. Because you are not failing at dating. You are refusing the illusion that a human being can be reduced to a quick decision. You are refusing the idea that love is a marketplace, where you win by never settling. What looks like indecision is often discernment that has been overworked. What looks like boredom is often self-protection wearing a blank face. What looks like "I don't care" is often "I cared too many times in a row." So maybe the question isn't, "What's wrong with you?" Maybe it is, "What did you learn to do to survive this hallway?" Your doubt isn't weakness. It's your heart resisting a counterfeit kind of choice. And yet, the hardest part isn't the swiping. It's what it trains you to hide. You become good at sounding light. You become good at sounding easy. You become good at sounding like you don't care. Not because you don't feel, but because feeling has become expensive. A conversation starts to glow in your mind. You can sense a rhythm, a little warmth, a tiny thread. Then it stops. No ending. No take care. No closure. Just a blank space where your hope was standing. That kind of silence is not nothing. It is ambiguous. And ambiguity is the sharpest hook, because your mind keeps chewing it, trying to make sense. So you do what you always do. You shrink the part of you that wanted it. You call it being mature. You call it not getting attached. But it is not maturity. It is self-erasure with good manners. Here is the micro moment you never talk about. You come home. You turn the key. The lock clicks. That's it. That's the whole scene. And in that click, the performance finally drops. Your face changes without permission. Your tongue presses hard against the back of your teeth, like it's holding a secret in place. Your eyes keep tracking for a message that isn't coming, even when you swear you're done looking. You tell yourself you're fine. You even believe it, a little, but your body keeps receipts, because your system knows the pattern: connection, suspense, disappearance. So it starts to protect you early. You don't lean in. You don't get curious too fast. You don't ask for what you want, not because you are cold, but because you are tired of warming up alone. And then comes the cruel paradox. You crave closeness, yet closeness activates the part of you that remembers loss. So you act casual. You act amused. You act unbothered. While a quieter part of you is begging for one simple thing: consistency. That is the cost. Not heartbreak. Not drama. Just the slow fatigue of never knowing when it's safe to be real. You don't fear love. You fear the vanishing after it. So maybe the goal is not to fix your dating life. Maybe it is to stop calling your exhaustion a flaw, because your tiredness makes sense. It is not laziness. It is wisdom with a pulse. You have learned, again and again, that quick access can mean quick disposal. So your system adapts, not by giving up, but by pulling you back from the edge. That is not weakness. That is your inner protector saying, "We can't keep paying this price." And maybe integration starts with one gentle shift, not forcing yourself to try harder, not swearing you'll quit forever, just watching yourself with honesty. Maybe next time a new connection appears, you let the urge to perform rise up. You let it talk. You don't obey it right away. You notice where your attention goes. You notice how fast you start editing. You notice the part of you that wants to be chosen more than it wants to be known. And then, softly, you experiment with one new truth. You offer one real sentence. Small, plain, undramatic. And you see what happens. In you, when you don't sell yourself, because the app can't measure this, but your body can. And when you begin to trust that signal, you stop chasing relief. You start building safety. When you stop auditioning, love finally meets your real name.